Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin Troyce and you're watching Troyce TV. So in today's video, I really had to get on here and talk about this crazy situation going on right now with the writer's strike. In fact, every single one of us watching this in the next couple of years. Now some of y'all may see this whole writer's strike debacle and think, wow, what the fuck does that have to do with me? Why should I care? Now, let me just give you guys a nice brief breakdown how all this stuff started. The WGA, also known as the Writers Guild of America, recently came out and they recently wanted to renegotiate their contract that they have with the AMPTP. The AMPTP is one of the biggest organizations in the world. They're responsible for controlling 350 plus studios all across Hollywood. They control Paramount. Not just Paramount, they control Apple TV, Amazon Prime that you watch and stream stuff on, Netflix, Warner Bros, Discovery, any major platform where you consume a lot of media like Disney, Disney Plus. They control all that. They're responsible for issuing the contracts, handling funding, and much more. And the WGA, which represents the writers, have been at odds with them for many, many decades. Now, the thing about the WGA and the AMTP, they're two separate organizations, and one is catered towards the writers, the people who write the TV shows, like the shit that y'all see on these corny-ass talk shows where these comedians tell these corny-ass jokes that aren't even funny, the same shit you see with the teleprompters whenever you see Tiffany Haddish or this entertainer hosting the award shows and they're reading off of teleprompters. Yeah, a lot of those times, those are writers that are actually writing those things. These celebrities aren't fucking funny like that. It'd be writers that are telling them what to say. Same thing for the people who report the news. These people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. These people are realistically just reading off of a teleprompter and feeding all of us forceful information.
Well, let's go to Tom Bulcher with the weather.
Blank screen, no words on it. Got to think. Must think. Back to you.
Ad lib.
What, huh?
Make something up.
What, huh?
Same thing for the people at the Breakfast Club. You think the Breakfast Club goes out of their way to go look shit up, to go type shit up? A lot of their notes and the research they do is done by their writers and their staff. So writers are very crucial and important. And without writers, a lot of these major entertainers and influencers would not have a brand or a platform. And shout out to Leslie Jones, because she recently went on this crazy rant going in on people, shaming the people going on strike, shaming the actors and shaming the writers. And this is what she pretty much had to say to sum everything up.
To pay their fucking rent. You need to understand that writers don't get paid when they're not writing. It's not something like they get extra checks or something coming to them because they did something. They get paid one time and probably not that much. So what we're asking for is just like it's billionaire fucking corporations that's making millions off of motherfuckers that's doing the work for them. And all they're asking for is their fair share. Nobody wants to get their face scanned and get paid one time and they be able to use your image for the rest of your fucking life. Who the fuck wants to, you wouldn't do that. You people who come in and comment on the fucking bullshit. Oh, well, teachers, they're not getting paid. Well, blah, blah. Yeah, all of us need to strike against the fucking corporation, not just fucking SAG and the actors, the teachers. Everybody need to be fucking striking against the fucking corporations because they fucking all of us. So think about that when you're looking at these posts and want to post some real shit, some real fucked up shit about how, oh, you guys are just trying to get paid more and that. Go fuck yourself, homie. Go fuck yourself. We're fighting for people who really can't. There's people in this business that's not even getting paid enough to afford health insurance. Health insurance. They can't even go to the fucking doctor. Why? And it's just like, oh, all y'all rich. No, not all of us. Not all of us, son. And the ones that are, like me, we're stepping up for the ones who need to be rich.
Now, the writers have pretty much gone on strike since May. They have pretty much made it very clear that they're not getting off a strike until they get paid more. So the whole writer's strike is basically all about the fact that they want the AMPTP, which is an organization that controls most of the film studios and networks in America, to pay more. Now, the Writers Guild of America is responsible for all the writers and all the people who control the shows and write the shows and much more, and including the scripts. And they negotiate every 3 years with the AMPTP about what they want. whether they want more price increases, whether they want a higher wage, whether they want to hire more writers, whether they want to get more pension plans, more benefits, and much more. Because a lot of writers get paid a lot of money. Some writers can make up most 6 figures a year, and some writers make, unfortunately, like 25, maybe even 30K a year, even though a lot of them are responsible for a lot of hit TV shows.
I'm a television and screenwriter.
What do you work on?
I wrote on a Hulu show called Woke and an ABC show called Queens.
How long have you been a writer?
Professionally, like 2 years now, but I've been screenwriting probably like the last 4 years or so.
How much do you make?
It varies a lot from year to year. So when I wrote on Woke and Queens, that year I made just shy of 200K. That was great. And then last year I made 38K because I was unemployed.
Tell me about the writer's strike. Like, what are writers asking for?
We are just asking for the career to be sustainable. So one of the things we're asking for is a minimum number of weeks for a writer's room to take place. So back during the heyday of cable and broadcast, typically you would be employed on a TV show for 40 weeks out of the year. And then during the hiatus, you would be getting residuals, so you could still sustain yourself. However, now there are some writers' rooms that are as short as 5-6 weeks, and then you have to try to find another job after that. Sometimes you can't because they write it into your contract that you are exclusive to them until they make a decision about a next season. And with streaming shows, as I'm sure a lot of people have seen, there can be 2 years between one season and another. So they are basically forcing you to be unemployed for 2 years. If you are in Los Angeles and you want to support the writer's strike, you can join a picket line. If you go on the WGA website, it'll have the list of all the studios and what times we're going to be there.
You know, there's even instances where a lot of these writers will literally write hit TV shows, and a lot of them are living in and out of hotel rooms, living in and out of Airbnbs, barely got money like that, and can't even support themselves, but they're helping write all these major TV shows that are getting nominated for Emmys and Oscars and all these major accolades all over the world. And since the 60s, there have been probably at least 5 writer strikes. And the last writer strike occurred 16 years ago, back in 2007. Now, back in 2007, that was the first time I even knew what the fuck a writer strike was. Most of us know about the writer strike because a lot of our favorite shows got canceled due to the writer strike.
Dan Pine, I'm a screenwriter.
Matt Weiner, and I'm the creator and executive producer of Mad Men.
Lance Gentile is my name, and I was developing a show at CW.
Matt McGinnis, I'm working on Journeyman.
Dennis Rinslow, one of the executive producers of Corey in the House.
Nicole Yorkin, I'm an executive producer of The Riches.
Scott Shepard, I was running the Dead Zone.
I'm a writer's assistant for a show called Burn Notice.
Julie Fagot, and I work for Mark Warren and Dennis Rinsler.
I'm a script coordinator for a show called Factory on Spike TV.
Hi, my name is Najma, and I'm an assistant on Gossip Girl.
And for those of y'all who are going to say, well, what does this have to do with us? Listen, a lot of our favorite shows got canceled back then during 2007 and 2008 because of the writer's strike. Let me give y'all some real shit that you need to hear. Your favorite TV show, the black sitcom, One on One? Yeah, one of my favorite shows from my childhood, that was canceled due to the writer's strike. A lot of these production companies, due to the fact that a lot of writers walked out on the job because they were tired of the low pay and the fact that they were only getting like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and being told they had to be exclusive to only 1 or 2 studios, One on One had to get canceled. It got canceled due to a lot of other reasons, but the fact that a lot of these shows couldn't support multiple shows at the same time, they had to get rid of One on One. Another show that was negatively affected is one of my favorite childhood shows, The Ghost Whisperer. The Ghost Whisperer was a very popular show starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, and the show did last until 2010, but production was halted due to the writer's strike. And guess what happened? A lot of these shows only ran for 15 episodes a season. Notice how a lot of your favorite TV shows from back in the early 2000s had what, like 22 episodes, and then by the time they got to the 2nd or 3rd season, it went from 12 episodes and then 10 episodes, and there was only 13 episodes one season. A lot of it was because of the writer's strike. So when writers go on strike, guess what? Your favorite shows get canceled, budgets have to get reevaluated, these major billion-dollar corporations have to figure out how much they want to pay people, how less they want to pay people, unless they want to sit back and not make a profit. And guess what? So many TV shows never saw the light of day because writers walked out. Because script coordinators, script writers, script doctors, they walked out. Oh, and that wasn't the end of it. So as you guys know, the writer's strike is currently going on, but this time the actors are now walking aside the writers. Before, the actors sat that shit out. The actors didn't want to get involved because, again, actors get paid a lot, but a lot of actors don't make a lot. Sometimes actors have to treat it like a hobby because a lot of actors don't get work like that. You literally get rejected 1,000 times before you even get one role. So Recently, the beautiful and legendary Constance Marie came out and she exposed the industry and why she will be striking alongside the writers because she herself has not benefited from streaming platforms. Now, all of us know Constance Marie. Yes, all of us know who she is. Most of us remember her from being the mama on George Lopez, and a lot of us remember her from being on that movie playing Selena Quintanilla's mom. She plays Selena's mom on the movie, so most of us know her from that. And a lot of us may also know her from the TV show Switched at Birth. Now, Switched at Birth was a very successful hit TV show. It was one of the first successful TV shows with a deaf set of cast members, a set of cast members that practiced ASL, American Sign Language. It was groundbreaking, really successful show that went on for damn near 5 seasons. However, she made it clear that the industry fucked her over and a lot of other actors over because a lot of these actors ain't getting paid shit from streaming.
My residuals that I get paid for a show I did called Switched at Birth, which I love, right? Amazing show, super creative, represented the deaf community, and I really felt was an important show. I learned ASL. I had an injury because of so much ASL, but that was my work, my passion, my love. And I did that show for 5 years. Great cast, great writing. So the studio is still showing my show, my work, my likeness. And this is what I get paid for it. 3 cents, 4 cents, 74 cents. I can't make a living. They're still making money, but I cannot make a living and pay my rent and pay my insurance off of these residuals, right? And this is not just for the actors who've had long careers. We're fighting for every single actor, even background performers. It's unsustainable unless the AMPTP and the studios pay fair wages. And it's really sad because this is an industry town and it's an economy that is really dependent on our industry, and they are willing and so greedy to not even negotiate anymore. And sadly, our last effort or our last ability to push this negotiation is a strike. So that's what's happening.
Then the famous actress H0llYW00DS came forth and she also commented under the post saying, "Yup, and I make $0.00 from Orange is the New Black today. So I felt this post." Which is odd because anyone that knows anything about H0llYW00DS, we all know that she was very successful on the show Orange is the New Black. She was really popular. Everyone knew who she was. And it's a shame that she doesn't make any residuals off of one of the biggest shows on streaming platform. Snoop Dogg famously spoke on this and he broke down everything perfectly. And this is exactly what he had to say.
The writers are striking because streaming, they can't get paid. Because when it's on the platform, it's not like in the box office. In the box office, if it does all these numbers, you may get an up. Oh, it did this many, here's another check. But on streaming, you got 300,000 hours that somebody watched your movie. Where's the money? And I know I'm going off a script right now, but fuck it. This is business. Yeah. This is business. You know what I'm saying? This is a room full of business people, and somebody may hear this and be able to do something about it so that way the next artist don't have to struggle or cry or try to figure out how to get to his money. Because some of these artists are streaming millions and millions and millions and millions of fucking streams, and they don't got no millions of dollars in their pocket.
Then that led to other actors giving their experiences, talking about how much they made. The former podcast personality Giovanni Watson recently took to his story to vent and rant about how the industry is fucking actors over. He came forth and made it clear that he only made a couple dollars in residual income, even though he made a pretty penny from doing the movie to begin with.
Just got one. Huh? That's what it was. Dangerous company, more I did for a lifetime. So I'm gonna see y'all out there picketing tomorrow in this heat. I'm gonna go get my SAG strike signed tonight. All right, I'm getting it tonight. Only thing I can get with this is a McDouble. 2 for 1.
Now, actors do make a pretty penny for their film, but a lot of times they only get compensated for simply just showing up, doing the movie, and they only film for 2 to 3 months on average, maybe even a year. But the fact that he wasted all that time just to get $5 in residuals, well, he actually made 15, but after taxes and having to pay your agencies, you only make 5. So actors, you got to remember, they're not just getting 6-figure deals. A lot of times, these actors are getting maybe if you're a popular actor and if it's a big production company, maybe over $20K for a movie. If you're lucky, you might get 100K if you're in high demand and well respected and the show does well. You know, Taraji P. Henson went in about this a couple years ago when she grilled people for assuming that all actors are filthy, stinking rich. And that's just not the case.
Because when you did Benjamin Button,
that was 150.
Right.
Okay, so let me break it down because I remember some people were like, 150? She greedy. That's a lot of money. Let me break this down for you. Okay. When you start making that kind of money, Uncle Sam takes 50%. So let's do the math. We're going to act like this is romper room. You know how they give you for those shows, they let you compute it for a second. So that leaves me with 75 now, right?
Yep.
Then I have to pay another 30% to my team who did all the work to get me that job.
Yes.
So I don't pay them 30% of the 75. No. I pay them 30% of the 150 that comes out of my 75. So what does that compute to? Okay, so let's break it down like this. You have 12 months in a year to make your money, right? If you do a film for 5 months, that takes you off the market for anything else to earn any other kind of coin until you're done with that show. At the time, my son's school tuition, because he was in high school at Buckley, was $30,000. I chose my son's education over fancy cars and all those things. And so literally for 5 months, that's what I made. His tuition. Now what? I got to hit the pavement again, and I got to scrounge up another check. You think you see somebody sold something to a streaming service for $20 million. Sounds great. Do that math I just told you.
Yes.
50% goes to Uncle Sam. Then they got to pay whoever they got to pay to get that. So they literally walk away with less than half of that.
How about that? And you got to realize that she's getting paid less than most everybody
of her.
else.
Absolutely.
That was a huge cast, by the way.
Absolutely. And so never did I expect to get paid with my counterpart. They have worked to get their quote. They deserve exactly what they're getting. But however, I deserve a little more too.
And mind you, that interview was a couple years ago, so we can't sit up here and just assume, oh, that's just rich people problems. A lot of our favorite entertainers are affected too. You know, how we consume media and television is affected too, because let's think about it for a second. What the hell we gonna watch? A lot of us watch Netflix. A lot of us watch Hulu. When the writing goes downhill or the budgets go downhill, we gonna complain and be like, oh, this look low budget. Oh, ew, why it look like that? Why it look like a fucking, why it look like a cheap-ass telenovela? Why it look like a low-budget Nigerian film? The reason why these budgets are so fucking high or so fucking low is based on the quality of people that they have. And famously enough, many of y'all don't know this, but Paula J. Parker spoke about the writer's strike a couple years ago. Paula J. Parker, the beautiful and famous actress, went on DJ Vlad and she did an interview talking about how the writer's strike negatively affected her. Now, most of us know Paula J. Parker for playing Trudy from The Proud Family. Most of us know her from Sprung. A lot of us know her from Hustle and Flow. And many of us know her from a lot of her other plethora of work. A lot of us love Paula J. Parker. She's an OG. Now, back in 2007, she actually lost her house and lost a lot of money because of the writer's strike that happened. She was on a very popular ABC Family TV show, and due to the fact that the show got canceled because of the writer's strike, she lost out on a lot of money.
At one point, you became homeless. Now, there's different variations of homelessness.
I lost my home.
Okay, so
in the 2007 debacle with all those, I was one of the people that was preyed upon, and I was greedy and wanted the money, and I took it, and then the writer's strike happened. So I was on a series at the time, which is why I took the money.
This was an ABC series?
Yes, it was ABC Family. My writers, they joined the strike and quit our show. A lot of writers stayed. You know, a lot of shows continued to work, but my writers, they did not cross the picket line. So the writers took care of me for as long as the strike lasted, and maybe a year after. And I love the writers for that. But they didn't take care of me like my show did. You know? Yeah. So I ended up losing my home. So what I was able to do is set up in a nice hotel until I booked something that would give me a lump sum of money, and I could do first, last, you know.
Wow.
And in Los Angeles, if I had been in Cleveland or anywhere else, I've been fine. Yeah. You know, I go rent a mansion
for $500.
Thank you. But because I'm in LA,
it's expensive.
So You could say I was in between homes, but I wasn't, because in between homes means I have a home and I'm in between going into the next home that I also have secured.
And you have a baby at this point?
And I have a baby.
How old?
Yes. He was about 5.
Okay. And at one point you had to get food stamps.
Yeah, I sure did. Me and Regina Hall got food stamps a week before I booked Townsend Television.
And she famously also put Regina Hall on blast, and she also said that Regina Hall and her were roommates at some point in the same building, and her and Regina Hall had to go get food stamps because they were negatively affected. And yes, I'm talking about Regina Hall, like as in Brenda from Scary Movie Regina Hall. Now, even though this was back in 2007, this still holds weight because, again, a lot of actors are still trying to climb that ladder. You know, there's a reason why whenever you guys turn on fucking Netflix, you guys see the same light-skinned actors, you guys see the same fucking faces, the same people all the time doing the same fucking movie, the same type of roles. There's a reason why every time you guys go on American Horror Story, it's the same actors being recycled over and over again. Because Hollywood is running out of ideas. So Hollywood is more so concerned about numbers and who's going to drive in traffic. So why bring in new faces and fresh faces when you could use people who are already established and already stars? There's people who are literally influencers that are given the opportunity to be on TV shows and act just because they have 1 million fucking followers. But the new guy and Sandra and Juan and Kevin from down the block are not going to get these opportunities like that. So guess what? When they do get opportunities to act, a lot of them, all these people are replaceable. What makes things even worse is AI, which leads me to my next point. AI, artificial intelligence, robots are now the demise of the entertainment industry. What happened to the music industry in the early 2000s is now happening to your favorite actors and entertainers. Now we have come up with something called streaming. Because back then it was easy to measure how much actors can get. Actors can get a percentage from certain TV shows based on how long they were on camera if the show was constantly played as reruns on TV networks. Now, a lot of TV shows are playing the same shows, and now the only way a lot of actors are getting shine is if they end up on streaming platforms. We have more jobs for actors, but that means less money. Now, anybody that knows anything about business, we all know that you have to do what you can to keep your budget as low and tight as possible, but to also accommodate your consumers. If you're a restaurant owner, what do you got to do? You got to fire some employees and install a kiosk like McDonald's did. If you're short on staff at your hotel, you got to program some robots, or you got to pay people lower. What would you prefer? Would you rather hire robots to literally do shit for free, or would you rather hire a person who you have to give a pension plan and benefits to? See what I mean? So this is where AI comes in. A lot of writers are intimidated because now AI is doing the work for them. And AI is rapidly growing, from the smartphones to the cameras to the fingerprint scans to the fact that a lot of us hold our phones up to our faces to unlock our screens and so much more. Also, the photography industry is in jeopardy because now you can have an AI machine do your headshots for you.
Paid AI $17 to create 100 professional headshots. Here's how it went. The website I use is called tryitonai.com,
and it costs $17 for 100 photos. You specify your gender. They currently only have male and female, and you're allowed to upload up to 20 photos that clearly shows your face. You can then select what styles you want. I choose professional studio and professional outdoors because I want professional results. Took almost 48 hours to get my photos back. I ended up liking almost 40% of the photos, but I only picked 10 of them that I can realistically use in a professional setting. My results gave me incredible styling ideas and poses that I could potentially use for future shoots.
Additionally, if you have a resume that you need polishing for, or a cover letter you need polishing, you can have an AI do the whole thing for you. So AI is going to be the threat to a lot of these writers, and a lot of these writers are trying to put a stop to it. But unfortunately, it's too late.
Because the industry is changing, and inflation has gone up, and our pay is not going up in line with the industry changes. with network TV, you're able to get paid properly for your work, and residuals, which are royalties. That has not happened since the streamers have come in, because they've not basically been held to the same account as the network TV. So basically, you can make a TV show, it can be watched by 50 million people around the globe, and these streamers can send you a check for 29 cents as a royalty, because there is no transparency. They don't have to tell you how many people are watching and how much money they're making from the show. So our money has gone down exponentially over the years, while the streamers and the executives at the top of these studios are making millions and billions of dollars. You know, we're not against technology. We're against using our intellectual property to feed into the sausage machine that is AI. You know, to train the AI, you're going to have to feed information into it. And what they're doing is for writers specifically, they're going to want to feed our scripts, our intellectual property into AI. And whatever rubbish it spouts out of the other end, then they'll get maybe one writer to make it look like a human actually wrote it. And that's what they're trying to do. So that, you know, all we want is safeguards against them stealing our work and not paying us for using our work to train this robot in order to put us out of work. And for actors, now they can put the face of anybody on anybody's body to make any kind of movie. So basically what's going to happen is that there'll be less and less work for actors, and people's images can be used without their consent.
What they'll do is they'll do what McDonald's did. They'll just find computers to do half the fucking work. And robots can do half, if not 10 times the work for literally close to nothing. All robots need is maintenance. They don't really need much. You don't have to give a robot a pension plan, a retirement plan. They don't need none of that shit. They just need to be programmed to do their fucking job, you know? So robots are a lot easier to deal with. So this unfortunately won't go anywhere. And I really want to talk about how scary AI is getting, because a couple of years ago, there was this viral video of an AI robot mimicking Obama. It was a computerized simulation showing us how it's so easy for them to literally use entertainers' faces and simply monetize them and make them be able to say what they want.
How about this? Simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele.
It's been less than a week since the deadliest mass shooting in American history. And foremost in all of our minds has been the loss and the grief felt by the people of Orlando.
So who needs actors? Who needs, you know, on-camera personalities? Who needs TV hosts when you can literally make and program your own? I gotta keep it real. This shit is going to go nowhere. Now, AI has been pretty much taking over the world. Almost everybody got a fucking Alexa in their fucking apartment. Everyone has like a robot vacuum. Everyone has, you know, a kiosk at an airport. You know, now when you go to Japan, they have like little miniature robots help you out. When you go to certain hotels in Miami or summer hotels in Mexico City or some hotels in even Central or Western Europe, you see they got those little robots that follow you to your hotel room, lead you to your hotel room, or even bring you fresh hot towels or alcoholic beverages. You know, AI has pretty much been taken over. And I will say that a lot of us kind of traded peace, privacy, and patience for conveniency. And that's just the way it is. And I think AI is going to continue to expand. And a lot of writers are actually fighting, same with actors, against AI. Now, we think AI is all cute and fun and games when we see it on TV and we see it in movies, but this shit is actually coming into fruition in real life. A lot of actors are going to be replaced by robots in the near future. Now, many of y'all may say, how the fuck is that possible? Because doesn't the world always need actors? Well, unfortunately, no, we're not always going to need actors. We just need to entertain people. At that point, it's like, who the fuck needs actors anymore? If actors are going to go on strike and try to make these corporations go broke, why would these billion-dollar corporations tolerate this anymore? I feel like what happened to the music industry in the early 2000s is what's happening to the entertainment industry now. A lot of your favorite entertainers and actors are going to be replaced. For example, a lot of entertainers like Nicki Minaj, for example, are always complaining about streams. How are streams calculated? How can we calculate how much you get? How is it that for certain artists, you need like what, like 200 people to 1,000 people stream your song? That's nothing. And then a lot of these major corporations who make these platforms like Apple and Spotify or Pandora, and much more. They make billions of dollars just from us downloading these platforms, but the artists have to work twice as hard to chart on Billboard, to chart on streaming platforms, and to even make a decent pretty penny. So if you're not a big enough artist, you're not going to make that much money off of music. So it's really unfortunate, but that's what's happening to the entertainment industry. AI is taking over. And it's funny because a lot of us don't realize this, but The Simpsons, The Simpsons predicts every fucking thing, predicted this. Same thing with Futurama. They predicted this. They predicted that we're all going to be replaced by robots. They predicted the fact that a lot of medical professionals are going to be replaced by robots. And last but not least, musicians aren't safe either. Yeah, an AI can definitely write a script. Yeah, an AI can definitely replace an actor. But best believe that an AI artist can replace an actual artist. Why pay an artist millions of dollars every couple of years when it's time to renew their contract when you can make an artist based off of the algorithm and based off of what people like? Did y'all hear that Michael Jackson Munch freestyle that an AI computer generated, where Michael Jackson was out here rapping Munch by Ice Spice? Your favorite musicians are all going to be replaced by simulations and AI. Like, you see how creepy and odd this is? So we can't sit up here and say, oh, well, that's that. Who cares? Who cares about this? This affects all of us. If these writers and these actors get replaced by AI, guess who's next? Your ass. People love to say, oh, well, my job is this, my job is that. Your job can easily be replaced. So if you can invest into other different avenues, if you have a passion, pursue that shit. If you have other things that you would invest into, please invest into it, because none of our jobs are lucrative. It don't matter what you do, whether you're a doctor, you're an attorney, a lawyer. None of your jobs are lucrative, because look what happened when the pandemic came. People thought doctors and nurses were so untouchable, but look how many doctors and nurses quit because they were so overbeared by all the hours they worked compared to all the money that they felt like they should have made. Look how many nurses and doctors left. Look how many nurses and doctors were overwhelmed because they were so understaffed, because so many doctors and doctors and nurses didn't want to come to work because they were overwhelmed by the workload and the amount of people that were coming in. So no job is lucrative. Literally nothing is lucrative. The only thing that's lucrative is actual assets. So retirement plans, pension plans, owning property, owning gold, owning silver, having something maybe even like cryptocurrency or a stock, those things are more lucrative than any job. Because Gabrielle Union said it the best. Your favorite entertainers are 1 to 2 paychecks away from not being able to pay for their things.
Certainly Black entertainers, Black celebrities. We don't, for all of the Oprahs and the people who have just a lot of money, most of us are 1 or 2 checks away from not having money to pay for all of our things. You know what I mean? So this stoppage of work and money is impacting marginalized celebrities the most. Like all those influencers you see who take all the trip, they're in Dubai one week and they're in, London the next week and Paris the next week, and they seem to be everywhere. They may not have a lot of liquid income, right? And you can't charge your rent. You have to pay your rent. So if you don't have the opportunity to do all of the things.
And then we have inflation, where now instead of paying like a couple dollars for milk, you're now paying $5 to $6 for a gallon of milk. Where now you're paying way more for gas than you did 2 years ago. Where now groceries are disgustingly more expensive than it used to be, where you literally pay $200 for groceries and you only get like 20 items. Like, what the fuck they do that at? Like, I remember you used to be able to get like 60 things for $100, and now you're only be able to get 20 items and it costs $200. This is not gonna end in anyone's favor, because again, AI is taking over. And AI, I hate to admit it, but we all gotta be real. A lot of us can't help but support it. A lot of us know that it's a genius idea. Like, AI is just genius. But you asked for this. A lot of us got this. A lot of us don't have a choice but to respect this. You know, AI is one of the best inventions that's going to come out, and it's a big reason why a lot of us are going to be able to prevail and do things quicker. It's a reason why a lot of us are able to get quicker information. You know, a lot of us nowadays, instead of using things like maps or MapQuest or learning how to read a fucking compass, a lot of us rather go on Google Maps. You know, we could shit on AI all we want, which unfortunately it does suck. And like I would say, like it's an evil thing, but it does come in handy. Like, how many of y'all use Google Maps? How many of y'all are turning on that speaker to have Google Maps guide you? Back in the early 2000s and back in the 90s, people were out here using MapQuest, where you had to have somebody in the passenger seat guide you, tell you where to go. But now with AI, we have things such as Google Maps, where now we realistically don't really need maps anymore. We don't need compasses anymore. So it just is what it is. And now that we're all surrendering our energy towards robots and machinery, there's nothing we can do. There's absolutely nothing. The only thing you can do is to adapt. The only thing that we really can do is to just accept it and take it all in. The only thing that people can do to possibly escape this shit and get rid of this shit is to merely just boycott the entire fucking government, condemn these fucking scientists for making machinery move too fucking fast. But a lot of us aren't going to do that because we're too busy dividing ourselves with religion, political beliefs, race, and a whole bunch of nonsense that we all distract ourselves with. We're always so fucking distracted that we never really realize the evil and the deeper shit that's going on in the world. And that just is what it is. But that's all I had to say on that. I had to get on here and just give my opinion about this because I noticed that a lot of people have made video content about this. I know Lovely T did a video. I know this YouTuber, that YouTuber, a lot of influencers did videos, but I just pretty much had to give my 2 cents because I feel like a lot of people aren't really saying what really needs to be said. Give your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's that. Troyce out this bitch. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. I'm gonna fly high, oh, high, how my tears are hurt high. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. Oh, I keep my glasses open tonight. Open tonight, open tonight. Party goes, don't take away. I go to die. I push it down. I push it down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hold your eyes. I got eyes. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. Okay, that's all you get for free. Album on the way, and subscribe to my Patreon and stream my podcast everywhere. Thank you.